Welcome. It is Sunday. It is the 2022 version of April the 24th, the day after game day. Oh, man. What the bloody hell was that, guys? What the bloody hell was that? I mean, talk about disappointment. Before we get into the game, just want to reflect a little bit on the experience I had yesterday. I got to have the wonderful pleasure of joining Danny Kyriakou, the bun, Tottenham's Michael Bublé from Tottenham on tour, at the We Are Tottenham TV studio up in Potter's Bar. It was a great experience, sitting down and doing the commentary. And I think I'd love to do it again next season. Hi guys. I'd love to do it again next season if the guys will have me back. Problem is, the feedback I think was pretty good in the comments. Not that I've had a chance to look through it all. I do acknowledge that there was probably a little bit lacking in sometimes the commentary during the game. It was one of the most boring games I've ever watched, so it wasn't like the game made it easy to commentate on. But that notwithstanding, you live and you learn, and having watched a little bit of it back, probably a little bit too much dead air, I think, little moments where neither of us were commentating enough. So, lesson learned. Thank you to anyone who knows me on this channel who did stop by and send their support in the comments for the moment, for the experience. So I had a lot of fun. I would love to do it again. But what about the bloody game, guys? I mean, look, anybody who thought that the Brighton game was a blip on the radar, right, an otherwise good period of form that just had, one little blemish, and that everything was going to get put right against Brentford, and I'll hold my hand up, I thought we were going to win comfortably yesterday, although in the back of my mind I did think it was going to be more difficult than I probably let on different streams and on this channel. But it wasn't that Brentford made it difficult for us, right? It wasn't that Brentford made it difficult for us. It was that we were just completely devoid of any energy, of any desire, of any threat. The gap between the forward line and the two in midfield was like they were an ocean apart. Everybody played. The only person that during the commentary, the only person that I really gave any credit to for a decent performance was Romero. I thought he did really well again, whilst smashing players and winning the ball back time and time again. He also had to do the job that that Emerson Royale wasn't doing. And if we were playing against a better team who would be more clinical themselves, I think we would have lost that game. We should have probably lost that game anyway. They hit the bar twice, or they hit the bar once and the post once. There was lots of goal mouth scrambles. It was just awful from us. We didn't deserve anything. I think the closest we came to a goal was Harry Kane's overhead flick kick thing in the last few minutes. But by that point, I think a lot of us had given up. It was just woeful. Absolutely woeful. Now, why was it woeful? Right? What is going on, guys? Well, there's a number of categories of, discussions or review points that we can go down, and look at, and who to blame for what's going on. I know the knives are coming out already, sharpening. Daniel Levy's name is being mentioned again as being the ultimate responsible factor or figure for a poor performance, because the squad is threadbare. Like, don't get me wrong, it is absolutely threadbare. We have very little options, but You know, some people are starting to question Antonio Conte a little bit. Even the Sky Sports pundits were saying, you know, maybe he's become a bit predictable. I think he's become very predictable. I do. I've always said this. You know, as much as I love the guy, and this is not, I'm not throwing him under the bus or disregarding what I think has been a very difficult job for him to walk into and how well he has ultimately done to get us to a top 4 race, even though, you know, we don't deserve it based on the form or the performances of the last 180 minutes. But you know, like, when you have 2 of the best forwards in world football in your team and you don't have a shot on target in 190 minutes of football, say, then, you know, something's going wrong, and we need to kind of figure it out. We need to figure it out fast, because Leicester is just around the corner in 6 days' time, and if we lose that game, then it's over, isn't it? You know, because I don't see Arsenal, I don't see us beating Liverpool or getting much out of, if anything, out of Liverpool. And you know, playing the way we did yesterday or last week, we won't get anything against Arsenal either. The only sweet spot, I know. The only good part about, you know, this top 4 race is that everyone's as bad as each other. You know, Arsenal are just as woeful as Tottenham. Man United are probably worse than both of us. You know, so I don't think it's going to be anything like as easy as it looked like it was going to be just 2.5 weeks ago when we were banging in the goals. But I do want to say, look, you know, you might not agree with this point, and I don't mind if people disagree with me on this. It's okay, it's just an opinion. But I think that Antonio Conte doesn't have to play the 3-4-3. I know he likes the 3-4-3. And I know he's played 4-2-4s before in Italy. But people that say he only has the option to play 3-4-3, I don't agree. You know, we have wing-backs, fit wing-backs right now. The only fit wing-backs we have were all bought as full-backs. They are all far more comfortable playing at right back and left back, not right wing-back and left wing-back. And we do have options on the bench. The only options we have on the bench that you would look to that could make a difference are forward players, Lucas and Bergwijn. And so you could go to a 4-2-3-1. You could go, you know, Reguilón or Sessegnon, take your pick. They're both as good or as bad as each other at the moment. Emerson on the right. You could swap out Davies and put in just Dyer and Romero. Or you don't even have to play Sessegnon or Reguilón. You could actually play, you know, Davies at left back, and then Højbjerg and Bentancur in front of them. Then a 3 across the top of either Sonny on the left, Lucas in the middle, Kulusevski on the right, and Kane as the number 9. Or you could play Bergwijn on the left, Kane as the 10, Kulu as the man on the right, and Sonny as the number 9. But there are options to go to a different formation, and I just feel like right now every team knows that the only formation you're going to see from Tottenham is a 3-4-3, and the only substitutions you're going to see in all likelihood is Lucas for Kulu and Bergwijn for Sonny in the last 3 minutes. And all you got to do is just pack out the midfield, and then the forwards press our defenders, and then Tottenham gets stretched between the zones and nothing happens. It's becoming predictable. I'm not blaming anyone necessarily, because, you know, I'm not blaming anyone entirely in any particular way, because, you know, we are threadbare, right? It's not ideal, but we do need a plan B, and there are options, is all I'm saying. And I don't know why we don't experiment during the training week. Surely by now they must have done enough 3-4-3 work to be able to have a little bit of time to try you know, going to even a 3-5-2 and let Kane just become the extra midfielder, you know, or something like that. I mean, Kulusevski's been awful the last 2 games, completely anonymous. Like he's just gone from being like this worldie, how the hell did no one else pick him up, to an anonymous there's no way in me saying I've suddenly fallen out of favour with Kulusevski, because I absolutely love the guy. But I'm just saying the last 2 games he's been absolutely shocking. Sonny, awful again. Bentancur, gone from being a worldie, he's had 2 woeful games in the midfield. You know, Højbjerg I think has carried Bentancur, but both of them just look so stretched and so overran that it's not working. Bugs, we're going to go back now. So we definitely need an answer to pack the midfield, and it's not Harry Winks. God, please don't say it's Harry Winks. What we would do to have Oliver Skip fit, hey? I mean, what we would do to have Oliver Skip fit. Look, we're going to struggle all the way through to the end of the season with just the same options, the same squad. I just want to see something different. I want to see, you know, a little bit of risk taking, because I can see Leicester doing exactly what Brentford and Brighton did. And this is the same kind of thing as what Southampton, the template that Southampton away back in January figured out. And then put in place well by Watford. Even though we won the game 1-0 by Watford, against Watford, they suffocated the midfield. And then of course Burnley, and then of course Wolves and Southampton, although Wolves and Southampton were before Burnley. But all of those games, the common denominator is getting overrun in midfield and not being able to connect the passes because of the strikers that just block out the channel, that block the passing channels. It's not rocket science to think how to play against Tottenham, and I would love Conte to show me why he gets paid 300 grand a week, or whatever it is, 15 million quid a year. Show me where that value is by recognising that we have a problem and that something has to change before we can change the squad. I still love him, I still want him to stay, still think we can win things with him in ever increasing percentages of likelihood or probability than we would with under any other manager, but I just want to see him have a different option, a different idea, something up his sleeve. And maybe he tried that with yesterday by bringing on Sanchez. I mean, someone explain that one to me in the comments if you're smarter than I am and have figured out the logic behind Sanchez coming on to replace Sessegnon. Then would love to hear it, because you know, didn't make any sense to me. I kind of like the fact that he's at least trying something different. I like that, because I feel like we haven't tried anything different for a while, and it's been working. This is the thing, I'm so caught in 2 minds right now, because you can only look at what you're seeing and go, how do you feel? And right now I don't feel good, but you know, it was essentially the same squad, apart from Doherty for Emerson. It was essentially the same squad that was responsible for 4 wins on the bounce, you know, for beating Man City away. So I don't know, Tottenham is very Spursy, isn't it? It's just, you don't know which side is going to turn up. But for me, the solution, guys, is pretty simple. I'm going to wrap it up here. Tottenham players don't want to pass to Emerson Royal. He doesn't understand how to play the right wing back. He doesn't understand when to make the runs, when not to. He doesn't understand anything about the relationships between the other players around him. There is no trust, and it's a problem. It's like playing with 10 men. So for me, you know, the options are, you either focus your movements down the left rather than down the right, or you take a risk and bring on Steven Bergwijn at right wing back, or Lucas Moura. None of them are perfect, none of them fit that role ideally, but I don't think it can get much worse than Emerson Royale. So let me know what your thoughts are. I'm really scratching my head this morning. It was a wonderful experience yesterday to go into the We Are Tottenham TV studio, but it was such a disappointing game to break your cherry on. Difficult to find anything to say positive about the performance, and even difficult to spend 90 minutes commentating when the ball was just getting passed around the midfield by both teams for the vast majority of the game. Don't know what else to say about that, but hopefully Conte can figure it out, or hopefully we can as a community. What's up for me? Next time you'll see me is on Tottenham on Tour tonight at 7 PM for a round the clock rule with Danny Kiriakou and Brian Daigle and Alex from Alex THFC. Always fun when we get together. Could easily get explosive. Seeing Brian Daigle on a couple of shows last night, he had his knives out for Daniel Levy, so I'm guessing it could be some controversial topics. It's a bit of fun and banter that might get heated. So tune in for that, and you can catch me on this channel at some point during the week, probably Wednesday, as we do the weekly roundup of all things that went wrong in the last game and how we can put them right for the Leicester game. Like, share and subscribe, guys. I love you all. Thanks for the support. And as always, guys, bye-bye.